Dear partners, dear participants, welcome to the final conference of our project, 15th anniversary of the European Union Enlargement. I would like to tell you some words about our project. This project was created by 4 organizations from 4 European countries: Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland. The year of 2019 was a year of remembrance, marking the 15th anniversary of the enlargement of the European Union and joining our countries together. So our project was created specially for this event. It is supported by European program Europe for Citizens, Strand 1, Remembrance, and also it is co-financed by Latvian Culture Ministry. The main aims of our projects are the following: to raise awareness of our citizens in our countries about this important cultural and political and economic event in 2004 for all our countries, because it was the biggest, the largest invention of the European Union in terms of territory, number of states and population. Next aim is to involve into our activities more actively social organizations, municipalities, museums, libraries, universities and schools for cross-sectorial cooperation, also to make more success, to give more success to our activities. And one more very important aim of our project is to create a stable network of our Eastern European countries with the aim for dissemination of the values of the EU and to work, of course, for the benefits of the European Union. So this anniversary was a very great starting point for the debates and analysis for our countries about integration of the EU and also about our living for 15 years in the European Union. The big work was done by our organizations during the process of the project. These were international conferences, seminars, collecting of interviews and video interviews with our citizens, local citizens in every country, to collect their points of views, opinions and thoughts about living 15 years in the EU. Also, we have got questionnaires also about opinions of our local citizens, which were used for the research. And the main output of our project was the research, which was based on the opinions of our local citizens from our 4 countries. This research will show the atmosphere of in our countries, the attitudes of people to the European Union and about living in the European Union. Also, there was organized photo competition in the frame of the project, and after that, in every country, we organized the photo exhibitions with the photos of winners. What else? The documentary film was created based on the video interviews. Meantime, the research will be presented today in our final conference, and the documentary film also will be presented today in our final conference. These are, as to say, the result of our project. And also the last point was we organized local workshops in every country, in our 4 countries, for dissemination of results of our project for local citizens. So this is shortly about our project. After that, now I would like to give the floor to Rezekne. She is project coordinator. She will tell us about activities which were held in Latvia, in our country, and after that, step by step, every organization from every country will tell us a little about their activities which were held in every country, in every partner country. Okay?
So, hello, my name is Dace, and I'm a project coordinator of this project. And I'm going to tell you about the activities which has been done in Latvia during our project. So the project started in 2019, in the 1st of September. And the first big event, big international event, was the kickoff meeting with all our partner organizations. And during this meeting, we made the strategy, planning, appointing the topics of the research, and sharing the task of the project. Yes, and this was back in 2019. Second very big international event which has been done here in Latvia. It was e-forum, Active Citizenship, Your Growth Opportunities. Also this big international event with participation of all 4 countries and representatives from different spheres, different organizations. Yes, and in this forum, NGO representatives and experts from Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland shared their best practices and project experiences to promote active citizenship and involvement in local communities. Iveta Balčūne participated in this e-forum, the manager of Lūznava Mainor, and she spoke about development of social entrepreneurship in Latvia, a way to build a better society. Lia from organization Kobietu Poland, who shared approach, experiences and examples of projects connected with climate change and climate crisis, as well as nature education. Asta from Lithuania, she talked about personal growth and development. Meeli from Estonia, who shared her experience of mental health. Indra from Lithuania, a physiotherapist, she talked about emotions and stress effects of our body. Also Charlie from Estonia, he talked about youth participation, a democratic approach to education. And Milena from Kobietu from Poland, and she spoke about youth impact on reducing inequalities, as well as building bridges between science and people of influence in a climate action matter. So here are some photos from our e-forum, which was organized online and also offline here in Rezekne. Yes, here are some photos from this big international event. So also here in Latvia, we and all the other partners were involved in making the research. And here in Latvia, we collected 22 interviews from local people and we made a documentation of those interviews. Also, we collected 108 questionnaires and 5 video interviews with the aim to make this research. And also our main researcher, Iveta Graudiņa, she analyzed all questionnaires from all the countries. It was 467 questionnaires. She analyzed all the questionnaires, all 88 interviews from all 4 countries, and analyzed also 20 video interviews. She edited and made this research for publication. And finally we have this result, and we made this book, this research, and we are very proud of this book, which was big work together with all our partners. And yeah, here is the first page from our book. Also, today you will have the possibility to see the documentary film, which is based on video interviews from all our countries, Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia and Poland. We created also a video trailer about the documentary film, and the next step, the last step of this project will be to create a video film about the activities of all the project. Also, Natasha mentioned already that we organized the photo competition also here in Latvia. This was a poster from a photo competition which was announced already in 2020, and we sent this information to different schools, youth centers, different organizations in order to promote this photo competition and invite people to send us the photos of how they see Europe, how they see 15 years in the European Union. And we received many interesting photos. Here are some photos from the photo competition. Yeah, this is our concert hall Gors, which was also built from the European funds, and it's also thanks to European Union that we have this, for example, building here in Rezekne. Yes, and also we received also some very old photos from Rezekne. Yes, and we can see how it was long time ago and how it is now when Latvia and Rezekne is in the European Union. Yeah, and we organized also the photo exhibition, and opening of this photo exhibition was on 9th of May this year in European Day, because 9th of May is also Day of Europe. And we organized this photo exhibition outside near our theater, outside because of different restrictions, of COVID restrictions, but it was very successful because it was Saturday and people were outside, and we attracted people also with the music. And I think the exhibition was very successful because people came and see the pictures and was very interested in it. And after that, the exhibition was inside the theater, and people could see this exhibition also in the theater. Yeah, some photos from this exhibition. Also, we organized local workshops for young people and adults here in Lūznava Manor. Also, because of this problem, because of different restrictions, we also organized the workshops outside, but it was also interesting for us. It was I think interesting also for people to be outside and to listen, to learn something, yes, outside. Yeah, and when it was possible, also we organized a workshop inside the building, and altogether we had three local workshops. Also, I want to say thank you to all our partners, because during this all big project, we were all together connected, how to say, and we organized regular online meetings, regular Zoom or Skype meetings, yes, and we discussed all the steps, we discussed all the tasks with our partners, and I want to say many thanks for this patience and for cooperating in this project already third year, because yes, because project started in 2019 in 1st of September. Yes, and yeah, the final big international event is here today. This is our final conference in Rezekne, Latvia, where we can see also our partners here. Thanks for coming. And yes, here we will share with you, with all people who are watching also through Zoom. We will share with you all the results. You will see the research. You will see the documentary film, and I think it's very, very interesting. So enjoy. And finally, I want to thank you all the partners. Thanks for people who came here today, and especially partners for successful cooperation and implementation of our project. And together we can make the world a better place.
Now, next will be representatives of Poland, Katarzyna, who I hope she will be online with us.
Work in pairs, work in smaller teams, a bit of interactive quiz. We found it very inspirational, and we were happy to be able to practice this tool during our Polish event. Then, as I was mentioning before, we also discovered that the structured in-depth interviews with regular people in quotation marks, since what we mean is not with experts, because usually we were having those in-depth interviews with experts on different topics, but we discovered how important and how inspiring and interesting it is to again to talk with regular people, you know. And if you dedicate the time, since each interview took place for at least an hour, so after some time, how people are opening up, how people are open to share their stories, and then how wonderful tool it is also to understand the other, because also on this level of connection, of communication, and sometimes, you know, we have different perspectives, we have different opinions, we have different ideas, so to understand the other better, it was a great way for us. And then we also learned and discovered that we are quite flexible as an organization and as a project team. And that's what I was mentioning, and Natasha also, that the project was initially planned for 2 and lasted in the end for 3 years. But even though we were struggling at some times, especially with the restrictions and meetings being much more difficult to organize, it taught us that we are flexible enough and that we were able to, as Natasha was mentioning, was one of our aims to create this connection and team of international, transnational organizations that can manage. And last but not least, that proper celebration is important. This is my favorite joke, that we started the project at actual 15th anniversary of EU enlargement, but we were celebrating this 15th anniversary for 3 years, So this also taught us that proper celebration is important, and 15th anniversary can be celebrated for 3 years, and it can bring a lot of joy, a lot of good energy, a lot of learnings. And yes, that's what I wanted to share with you. Thank you for your attention. Here is one last picture from the very beginning, when we still thought that the project will last until December 2020. It lasts until December 2021, and we managed to accomplish all of our goals, milestones, and activities. And for this, I would like to thank participating organizations, but also representatives of our community who contributed to the project and made it happen. And here I will stop sharing my screen, and hopefully we'll come back to you. Yes, I'm with you. So once again, it was a pleasure to sum up the Polish perspective. I wish you all the best. And once again, especially Natasha, that's World Our Home. Thank you for coordinating this project, but also to our Estonian and Lithuanian partners. Thank you very much, and to the local communities and everyone who contributed to the project. Thank you very much, and hugs and kisses from Poland.
Thank you very much, Katarzyna. Thank you very much. And now we listened to the presentation from Poland. And now we would like to invite our Lithuanian partner to make your presentation about your local activities in your country. Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon for those who are listening us in live. Good afternoon for those who are listening us in Zoom platform. It's a pleasure to see you all here. And before starting my presentation, what I have prepared for you to share, I would like to thank honestly for our leading partners association, World Our Home, for taking care of such a huge, important and really interesting project, for taking care of all project activities. And I would like to thank our partners from Estonia, from Poland, for such a fruitful collaboration during the whole project's implementation process. To continue with the presentation, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Gabriele, and I'm representing Lithuanian Partner Association Unique Projects. So as you have already heard, our project's name is 15th Anniversary of EU Enlargement. And probably not so many of you have heard the translation that in Lithuanian it's 15-osios ES išsiplėtimo metinės. And 2019 was a year of remembrance to mark the 15th anniversary of EU enlargement. And the first, and I should say that one of the biggest parts of the project was collecting local citizens from 4 participating countries' interviews and surveys, attitudes on the European Union 15 years after accession. And in total, 88 interviews and 467 surveys in 4 countries were collected. I should say that it's really a huge number of interesting interviews and surveys, and 22 interviews and 107 surveys were collected in Lithuania. Mainly 3 aspects were collected from local people, their attitudes towards the European Union, European citizenship, and is the future of the EU is pessimistic or optimistic. It was interesting to see during those interviews and surveys that younger generation were mostly positive about European Union. However, they are quite young, so either they were already born in the European Union or they were quite small, so they don't remember the difference between life before European Union and after. So they marked mostly positive aspects, but not so many of them. It was interesting also to see that older generation was mentioning positive aspects, but also some negative aspects of the European Union, so they were not so 100% positive about European Union. And another interesting thing to mention, that interviews and surveys taken before and during COVID-19 virus pandemic period, and those interviews and surveys who were collected before the virus situation, they were more positive than those who were taken during the coronavirus pandemic period, and more negative aspects were mentioned during the pandemic. However, to summing up those all interviews and surveys, they were more into positive side about European Union. Later on, as it was mentioned before in earlier presentations, we had also photo competition. It was called Europe, and they were collecting 3 winners from each participating country, and later on in each partnership country we organized a photo exhibition, What Has the EU Given to Me and My Country. We were presenting here all partners, winners' pictures, as well as all competitors in general pictures. During August 3rd until 24th, almost all August month this year, it was presented in Kaunas Culture Center. Here you can see first place winner in Lithuania. This picture was made by Monica. Second place winner, it was made by Mindaugas, this picture. And the third place winner, it was made by Aušrinė. We had a really interesting photo exhibition opening with more than 30 people listening to information about Europe for Citizens program in general, about our project, what we have already done, information about interviews and surveys. And later on, during the whole photo exhibition period, about 200 people in total have visited it. After all international events, we have organized local workshops in Lithuania. The first one was held this year on October 6th. It was held in KTU Santakos Slėnis. It's a Center of Science, Studies and Business. I should share that during this coronavirus situation, it was the first time for our organization to organize blended method local workshop. It means that we had, like today, some people listening to us in live and another part of people joining us online. So in this local workshop, 15 people listening to our presentation in total. Another workshop was held at the end of October 28 this year. It was held in Kaunas Business Center. More people joined our presentation. And another time it was also blended method. Some people sitting in live and 23 people joined us online. Here we talked about Europe for Citizens program, our project, international meetings, what we have discovered during the interviews. We showed pictures of competitors in all partnership countries and answered to people questions they were asking us. To continue with, I would like to share that not only projects dissemination, but also visibility is really important, that not only those who are joining our international meetings, not only those who are participating in some kind of activities of the project, but also those who haven't heard about the project. It's really interesting to know what is happening, what is going on with the project, and with internet help, we can really share this information to people who haven't heard about it. So during the whole project's implementation time, we have shared information information about activities, about the whole project itself in our association's website, in association's Facebook and Instagram accounts, and in here you can see some extracts on the screen. That would be it, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Gabriela.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you a lot. Yes. Now, next presentation will be from Estonia, from our Estonian partner. Kuldar, please.
Hello everyone, I am Kuldar. I am the Estonian representative for today. I am actually the accountant officially for this project, but I've supported my team, Mark and Piret, through the entire implementation of different local activities and questionnaire, spreading it around and doing the interviews and all of that. So I will try to give you a good overview of what we have done over the last 2 years. Our organization in Estonian is MTÜ Noored Toredate Mõtetega, which in English translates as Youth with Great Ideas. From the name you can maybe guess that we are actually a youth work oriented organization, and we have a youth center in Tartu, and we do a lot of projects that we can use to give more opportunities to different youngsters who are connected with our organization. And this was a very good opportunity to give the youngsters a chance to have discussions on topics that they don't that often maybe come into contact with, what happened in 2004 and what was before and what has happened in their lifetime. And we got quite interesting feedback from them. So while this was a Poland meeting, it was a very good opportunity for us to bring some of the youngsters who you can see in the pictures behind the Estonian flag and a little bit in front, and let them see the process of how these projects work. When we had them in the strategizing meeting, they could see that it's not just big events and big presentations, but it's also the hard work, distributing tasks and discussing even in the team. And they even got to give input, and our lovely partners allowed them to have their say and their voice heard in this meeting, and it was a very lovely experience for them. We only heard good things from them. They also, in the meeting, they also got to take part of the unconference, and as you can see from the top left picture, they also had the task given by us to film a bit conference, but just before the big meeting, I clumsily broke their tripod, and they had to try to fix the mess that I had made like a few minutes before the official beginning. They did not succeed because I broke it pretty badly. But oh well. Research-wise, we aimed really strongly to spread the questionnaire around many places in Estonia and not just in Tartu. So we used different methods for that. We asked our acquaintances, partner organizations, and also used social media to spread it around in different cities, rural areas. And so the input from the questionnaires would be as detailed as possible. Interviews, we try to do the same thing. While the most concentrated amount came from our city Tartu, we still were able to get some from the biggest islands of Estonia, where we had either acquaintances or professional people who we work with, partners, or maybe family, few. And we tried with the interviews to have different career paths, the people who have different career paths or different life experiences, different ages, to keep it very versatile with the input that we would get. In total, we had over 100 questionnaires and 24 interviews. And yes, and of course for the documentary we did video interviews. We either went to the person's home or had them come to us. We had 3 video interviews done with one therapeute, I think that's the way you say it in English, one youth worker who had worked in the field over 20 years, and one young lad from high school. For the photo competition, you already have heard of the topic and everything. So we had quite a lot of participants, and here are 3 of the winning photos. The biggest one is of a actually I'm not sure how you say it, swampy area. I don't know the exact term actually, but pretty much the person, Siim Kärtner, who put it into the competition, wanted to show that in his feeling, thanks to the European Union, the nature preservation has become more in the know-how. People are more aware of the the word escapes me. Wait, I can hear it near me. I will catch it. And the word is gone. Anyway, it was important to him that the nature and how it has affected the being in the European Union and what not. The second one was historical and cultural safekeeping. That's the top right corner of the old castle. There was the person, Egert Laur, who submitted this photo, felt that through European regulations and different fundings, these kinds of things are in a safer environment and less likely to be lost to time. And the third one was by Sergei Novikov. This used to be a factory in the lower right corner, and now it looks like a very modern European city. And this, he felt, was the direct effect of being in the European Union. Here is the photo exhibition. We had it near our youth center, so we had, and it was open for over a month. So people came freely each day between 1 and 6. And they could walk around and look at the photos. Each photo had the description of why this photo was put into the competition and what was its connection with the 15 years in the European Union and what was. And you can see in the bottom corner one of the winners, Siim Kärtner. So in E-Forum we had 2 people speaking. Meeli Laane, as was mentioned by Tasse, she talked about mental health, which, because it had become such an important topic during the pandemic period where people were trapped in their houses and stuff, and she shared how to stay fit in this environment and of course any other, and how to deal with the stress that might arise from it. And Charlie Moreno Romero is actually the founder of the Estonian's first democratic education branch. So he talked about youth participation in this educational approach. Meeting in Tartu was for the seminar, which was the program that we did, the biggest one that we organized. We organized it in Tartu University to give the common people the chance to speak their thoughts of the EU changes and their opinions on it with the politicians and representatives on the NGO. And yes. And of course the local workshops, we have had 2. One with the older generations, we shared with them the research and a trailer of the documentary that we will see today, and had them discuss what they thought of the results that we had received during this project and what were their opinions, and we shared the process that we had gone through the 2 years, and also with youngsters. But sadly, those photos were locked away in Google Drive, so I couldn't put them and show them to you today. But with the youngsters, we did the same thing. We wanted to get input and share what we had done with both the older generation and the younger generation. and to get input of how they feel about the results of our work. And thank you for listening. Before I finish, I wanted to thank my partners and the coordinating organization for the opportunity which was given to our organization to be part of this project. It was a new experience for us because we usually are focused on youth projects, and this gave us the opportunity to widen the topics that we tackle and give the youngsters a different opportunity to see that it's not just camps and youth-related topics, but there are also other important things and projects that are interesting to take part of and learn from. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kuldar, for your presentation. And thank you very much for the partners, for all the partners, for your presentations. And now we join together all our work, and our main output of our project is the research which have done by Iveta Graudania, our main research in our organization. Yes, so now will be the presentation of the big research based on the opinions of all our citizens of all our 4 countries.
So, hello dear visitors, hello dear partners, here in Rezekne, Latvia, and there in Poland and Lithuania and Estonia, and as well in other places in Latvia. I am really glad to be part of this project, and my name is Iveta Graudina, and today I'm representing the Latvian organization European Association World Our Home, and I'm really thankful that sometimes I can be involved in very different projects of this organization. And those people from Latvia who are listening to, I absolutely recommend to be involved in activities and incentives done by this organization, because the areas covered really are very diverse, and the projects covered are very different, and it is possible to get involved and to understand the ordinary areas of life, to see them in the different light. Okay, but moving to our project output, thank you, as you say, Natasha, the main output, the research. I wanted to start with the question. I would like if we would have more time to make it interactive, but everyone who sits in the audience here, tell me, and those who are in Zoom platform as well, you can write in the chat. If you could compare Europe with some object, what it could be? If you could compare Europe with an object, what it could be? I would think that I would compare Europe with an orange, because it's so bright in the world, it's so juicy that other people want to visit it and see the advantages. What are your ideas? Gabriele, say the first what comes into mind.
I'm not sure.
Anybody?
Me? I don't know why, but I think of Rubik's Cube.
Rubik's Cube, the great idea. I think additional interpretation can make everyone, because you can put it together in different ways and still have tasks. Something else?
I am not ready.
Oh!
I am not European research.
I can't see the chat box if there are some answers. What about you?
I imagine an old castle, good and interesting culture, something difficult to understand.
Ah, this is a good idea. Something old, something traditional, which should be solved. Koldar, your idea?
For some reason I think about kaleidoscope because of the changing different cultures, so the color will always change and different people and different opportunities.
Super, that's great. What I wanted to show with this example, that our understanding of idea and of the concept is very different, but it is important that we think about that we make our brain move around the concept and to be more active. Because I wanted to start my presentation with the quote of American politician, not current, but a couple of decades ago, and active person in civic education and NGO sector. And Joanne Claybrook, she has told once that there is nothing beyond the reach of ordinary citizens doing the daily work of democracy. Daily work of democracy, and no problem too great to tackle with the power of active citizenship. I love this quote because nothing we do can be too little to influence the world. Even with our thoughts, with our ideas, with our small actions. And I believe that our research made people to think more about Europe, about European Union we live in, about our experiences. And that's already named the aims of the project and research aim of the project, to explore attitudes. But sometimes, you know, when you are filling questionnaires or answering the questions of interviews, it makes you think more about this subject. It makes you think from different point of view about the subject. And I believe that our research made this aim wider. We research not only attitudes of the people, but we raise their awareness as well. And thank you very much, partners, who mentioned that you discovered this new approach to the research, because we really, from the very first meetings, we tried to make the results as interesting as possible. Yes, by the partners, there were already mentioned the numbers. So altogether 88 in-depth interviews were made, and 4, 6, 7 questionnaires online. And these are numbers from the country, so you can say that it's been quite representative sample. We took several factors to make this sample representative. So in the result, we had respondents from both large cities, small towns and rural areas, and it allowed also in some questions to compare opinions and views of these populations. We took also people from different generations. So the youngest one, the Generation Z, so-called, Gen Y, Gen X, baby boomers, and we had also some respondents born before 1946. So it's been representative sample also regarding the age. But it was interesting to look how differs the opinions of different age groups. And the questions we asked grouped around 5 areas. This was about identity. The question, how attached do you feel to Europe? How attached do you feel to European Union? Awareness. Are you aware? What is Europe for you? What are advantages of Europe you see? What are problems we are tackling? What are future expectations of the people? How do you see the future of Europe? In what colors? Are you Euro optimist or Euro pessimist? And also the part of the questions related with this active citizenship, with doing daily democracy work, with being daily active citizen of your country or of the Europe. I have selected a few questions to show the main ideas, main conclusions of the research. And So as you understand, in the methodological approach, we took both qualitative method, in-depth interviews with people, each interview of length of duration in average 1 hour, and online questionnaires. And if online questionnaires, statistical data, gave the idea of numbers, of correlation ratios and coefficients, then the interviews gave just colorful picture, these stories of life mentioned by Katarzyna that make this research data colorful, not just plain numbers, but yes, stories of life, because story of every person's life shows also the story of Europe. And I made some quotes for you. So Ola from Poland says in her interview, this feeling of belonging to the EU is kind of important and some kind of feeling safety. I don't know how much this is real and how much this is just imagination, but there is this feeling of safety while belonging to a bigger union of countries. And this is about feeling of people, because in fact, this is not the European Union as an institution that make our safety real. There are other organizations. But for people, this is safety issue, and this is mentioned in the interviews. And if we think about the beginning of European Union, the union that was established after the largest war on the territory of the Europe, the Second World War, then the idea was to keep peace in this region, to keep peace in the territory, and that's what people feel about that. The question was, how attached do you feel to European Union? And we see that red-colored marks and shows that there are many people altogether with very attached in all countries, there is enough percentage of those feeling attached. Much less are those people who feel not attached at all or not very attached. And this is also related with the question if person feels as European citizen. And I have to admit, I remember the event in Poland when in our conference participated the students who are citizens of the third countries, countries not belonging to European Union. And when looking from the outside, they mention so many benefits every day we are not thinking about. And something that for people like Generation Z feels normal about it, like traveling without borders, like having benefits, free movement of people or free movement of goods between countries. And that's the question, do you feel yourself as a European citizen, appeared quite important for us. Kastya from Poland mentions that I feel that the EU gives us the opportunity to be treated as human beings with no kind of boundaries. So yes, it feels like we are privileged, and it is very important to remember that. And 30% and 45% of people mentions that they strongly or rather strongly feel as European citizens. In comparison, we also asked the question how attached people feel to their towns or their countries. And of course, for these 4 countries, and especially for Baltic countries like Lithuania, Estonia, and Latvia, who got their independence in 1991, the feeling of belonging to national countries much more stronger maybe than otherwhere in the Europe. At the same time, we asked the question, what are achievements? Tā, es neko neiztraucēju, es paraustīju vadu. Viss kārtībā. What are the achievements you are proud of? Because this also shows how people, if they feel this belonging feeling. And many of respondents and interviewees mention about the unity, as in this quote from Julia. It's the unity of this continent of ours, in the sense that we can freely move within Europe. And this is one of the main achievements. And this graph shows the items mentioned. Some of this was partly closed questions, so some of the alternative answers were mentioned, and people had, respondents had to choose all of them which seems appropriate, and also to mention others if they have others. So top 3 is free movement of people, goods and finances, peace among member states, and student exchange. Student exchange, who of the people currently in audience have participated in Erasmus? Anyway, yes, thank you. Others, so this is the future for you. Thank you, thank you. Yes, because this is the great possibility as well. I remember I myself work in university and remember the end of 1990s when we were establishing first contacts with Western universities. And I was just jealous of them having Erasmus program, and then we had first students we sent abroad for Erasmus program. That's great opportunity which could be used both by EU countries and also by the countries not associated with the Erasmus Plus program. And in general, we ask if the EU, in the mind of respondents, have positive image, because there were doubt that nowadays, when the European Union touches or faces with different challenges, maybe the image is not so positive. But as you see from the graph, that the answers are very positive or fairly positive or rather neutral, and only in average 15.4% says that it's fairly negative or very negative. So with positive look at the future. We asked the question, what are the most important challenges the EU is facing at the moment? Problems or challenges, and this also was the question with open-ended possibility, where the respondents were able to enter their versions of the problems, of the current problems, and populism and problems with democracy were mentioned among these. And again, the graph shows that in fact, I have to mention, as it was mentioned also by one of speakers, that we started the research just before the pandemic, and first interviews were made before the pandemic in winter of 2020, and online survey was carried out already in pandemic times. So of course the COVID-19 is mentioned one of the top problems. So, and to mention top 3, COVID, refugees, mass immigration, and of course economic situation and fear of future unemployment. The same close to terrorism environment. In our methodology, we used also some tools that are applied in Eurobarometer survey, one of the most popular European Union surveys. And I have to say that our research answers illustrate the same numbers, the same top problems that are mentioned in Eurobarometer survey, which shows that our methodology used also worked very well. And this word cloud just represents the ideas of respondents, what they have added as their own answers to the problems of European Union. Democracy, again democracy, nationalism, you see situation with media, with populism, etc. I hope that the presentation perhaps will be available for listeners and you will be able to study more the presentation and the slides. And regarding particular problems, our hypothesis was, what we wanted to check, that some problematic zones or areas which are important, we mentioned 4 or 5 particular problematic, challenging, let's say challenging zones. One of them is education, and in the interviews the respondents confirmed that yes, education is the way how can we move forward, how we can make the world better place. And I love very much this quote of Andrzej that he says, I think that schools should teach how to find a job, and by job I don't mean just discussing it theoretically, but I mean a whole set of practical skills and real life tasks to do. Education, it's crucial how we prepare young people to the world, and we know that youth unemployment is one of the crucial problems of European Union, and the projects supported by programs of the EU want to tackle this issue. So education is the key, and that's why Erasmus Plus is so important. Another problem the interviewees talked about, of course, is mass migration. The research was held before this crisis which is happening now on the border of Belarus and Poland. And maybe, yes, again, if the interviews would be carried out now, maybe the answers would be different, or the number of people seeing that as problem would be different. So much the views and opinions are influenced by the events happening around us. Of course, we live in the world where changes are so fast we can't follow. We are publishing this research today, taking into account that the situation already has changed since the moment we interviewed people till the moment we present these research results and publish them in the book. There were different opinions, and there were quite democratic opinions of respondents, like saying migration were and will always be, because people move. We have to help as much as we can also, because we also have been helped when we were not in the best situation, and many Poles found a job and good life abroad, says Stanislav. And again, one of the opinions that describe the situation. Unemployment and economic situation is one of the challenges. And again, interviewees who are looking for solutions, not only for problems, they see that education can help people change attitude, and educated and skilled people would find how to develop themselves, how to find a place in this changing world. Absolutely important issue and challenging issue is ecology and climate change. And here Ola from Poland reminds the simple slogan, think global, act local. With our everyday actions, with small steps, we cannot change the world, but we can change environment around us with simple steps. We have only one earth we live in, and we can make life better starting from ourselves. Regarding European future, really I was surprised that but the people we had in our interviews and in survey were quite optimistic. As you see, 2/3 or even more, 3/4 think they are very optimistic or fairly optimistic about the future of European Union. If to compare with the generations, then slightly more positive attention is for younger people, and it should be so, because they are those who will live and who will make the future of the Europe. And the last but not the least chapter of the survey was about citizen involvement, about active citizenship. And we asked the question if the people involved in the survey have heard about European Association, meaning civic organization, non-government organization, whatever you call it, in surroundings in the city or nearby. And almost half of people, of respondents answered they haven't heard. So what the conclusion is that for leaders of organizations and for young people, this means that there is place for establishing those NGOs, that establishing of civic organizations that can make the world a better place, and participating and organizing the activities for the people. Because interests, yes, there are interests. Only 1/5 says that they are not interested and 15% rather not. But really 2/3 of respondents answered that for sure, or perhaps they would be interested in participating in the different projects. And again, think about projects. What projects, what ideas, in what areas? Start with those sustainable development goals. Think about the challenges that Europe faces. And you can establish organization, or you can start and create the project to tackle with any of those problems. Take climate changes, take education, take employability of the youth, economics, generations, immigration, healthcare, education, etc., etc. These are the areas mentioned by the people they are interested in. So, and this is my final remark and call for action for all those who listen, for all those who will hear about this project or other project. Just go on and participate, and remember that your daily actions can make democracy alive. Democracy starts with you, and active citizenship starts with you and with your actions. So this was the report on the research attitudes towards the European Union 15 years after accession of our project. And my name was Iveta Graudiņa, and I represent the Latvian organization World Our Home. And so you already met our partner organizations who realized the project, who implemented the project. And thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you great projects in the future who will make future of the European Union bright. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Iveta, for this great and very big work on the research, working out on a lot of questionnaires and interviews which we have got from for our country's partner organizations. Thank you very much. And this, as I told already, this research is our main output of our project as a result, and we printed already the book based on the research about this research. The book will be given to the libraries and to our partners. Also, this book will be available online, so you can see it online and read and learn a lot of interesting things from our research, from our book. Yeah. Now we would like to present you a documentary film which is based on the video interviews which our partner organizations and all of us, we worked a lot about this, and we collected some video interviews with the opinions, thoughts, point of views of our local citizens from 4 European countries, from Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia and Poland. And the documentary film was created on the basis of these video interviews. Now we would like to present you this film.
No, kõige rohkem tunnen ma ennast ilmselt tartlasena, Tartu elanikuna, kuna ma olen ka siin oma elust kõige suurem osa olnud.
Ma olen siin olnud, ma ei ole seal Euroopas väljas käinud ja ja ma ei saa ennast tunda sellena. Ma ikka olen oma riigi kodanik, aga mul tütar elab Inglismaal, et tema ikka tunneb ennast rohkem eurooplasena kui mina.
I think I'm more like, let's say, world citizen, because like today, in today's world, we don't have any boundaries for traveling, and so.
Kaip ir jeigu Lietuvos pilietė, tai iš karto ir Europos Sąjungos pilietė, nes Lietuva yra Europos Sąjungoje.
Europos Sąjunga tai ne unitarinė valstybė ir tai tik sąjunga, ekonominė, politinė ir teisinė. Todėl aš jaučiuosi Lietuvos Respublikos piliečių, kurios pasą turiu.
I really love my own hometown, my country as well. And also I feel like a citizen of Europe since I'm a European Union citizen. And also the whole globe. I just really love traveling and I love all the places that I visit.
Most important thing that we can feel secure in European Union. We can spread our word freely. Also, we have so many rights that other people in like Asia or other continents don't have. So yes, I feel like a European Union citizen.
No, gdybym miała wybierać pomiędzy takimi poziomami, to najbardziej przynależy do swojego regionu, czyli do Kurpi. Kolejnym poziomem jest Polska, bo to jest kraj, w którym żyję, jakoś się z nim identyfikuję, choć w ostatnich latach to jest trudne. No i kolejnym poziomem to jest ten europejski.
Jestem obywatelem Polski i przywiązany jestem do swego rejonu. Tu jest moja ojczyzna, tu się urodziłem. I to mam swoje obowiązki względem siebie, rodziny i ojczyzny.
I definitely feel European, and in fact I feel like I'm belonging to the whole Europe, but at the same time mostly to two countries, so Poland, where I was born, and Italy, where I did my Erasmus.
Pirmam kārtam es jūtos kā latgalīte savā dzimtajā cīmetā, tī, kur esmu pīdzimusi, izaugusi, savā dzimtajā pilsētā. Он так покопенецки сова власти, он сова Европа.
Нет, я в какой-то мере чувствую себя свободным человеком в том отношении, что когда ты ездишь по Европе, ты немножко видишь, как живут люди. Когда смотришь на них, они свободны. Я тоже свободен, потому что если с ними приходится работать, я должен выглядеть точно так же, как и они.
The short answer is I do, but if I have to explain that, I have to say that I think I'm one of the first of the generations that can say that we feel European in Latvia. For example, my mom or my grandparents, they don't have this feeling that the Europe belongs to us. But I have been already living for quite some time with this feeling that yes, I am European. I have the rights to go work, live, and communicate, socialize, and live my life as a European.
Tak, po wstąpieniu do Unii Europejskiej był u mnie bardzo duży głód widzenia właśnie Europy od środka i przez kilkanaście lat pracowałem w Anglii. Zdobyłem ciekawe doświadczenie. Jak powiedziałem na początku, ściągnąłem również córkę, żeby zdobyła takie samo. Skończyła tam studia, także myślę, że jest zadowolona. Ja też.
No, ma olen ühe toetuse saanud selleks ümberõppeks vastu umbes 10 aastat tagasi, et selle kaudu olen ma otseselt tunnetanud, et on head, aga muidugi need riigi asjad või maanteed on, eurotoetused on kõik ikkagi väga head olnud. Me kõik oleme võrdsed, et maanteesse seda välispoliitikat kuulates uudistest ikkagi tunnetan, et meie hääl ka loeb.
Gal didelių nebuvo. Tik tai tiek, kad tu žinai, kad kažkokiai narystėje kaip ir esi, kuri suteikia saugumą.
We can travel freely in European Union. We don't need to have any visas or so on. Also, we can work, we can do businesses, and we can study in European Union freely.
Pats jau piedalījos Eiropas projektos pirms vēl mēs iestājām Eiropas Savienībās. Arī bija kampaņa, kurā tika organizēta Latvijā, lai mēs izglītotu sabiedrību par Eiropas Savienību kā tādu. Kaut kur jau no 95. gada mēs jau bija pirmie Eiropas projektiņi. Viena grupa tātad jauniešu projekti, jauniešu izglītošana, apmaiņa. Otra daļa ekonomiskie projekty, patērētu interešu aizstāvība.
Byłam uczestniczką wielu projektów, między innymi byłam na ponad chyba 7 treningach. Część projektów kulturalnych, które realizowałam w Łodzi wraz z wolontariuszami, to też były tego rodzaju projekty. I też na poziomie dawno temu, na początku mojej drogi tutaj w Łodzi jako wolontariusz, też uczestniczyłam w tego rodzaju projektach.
Много лет я ездил в Германию, езжу. Много лет езжу во Францию, уже по идее 6 лет. Ну, 6 поездок у меня, в Германии у меня где-то более 10. Болгария, Австрия, Словения, Румыния. Ну, Эстония была у меня проект. Ну, если не помню, уже где-то иногда забываю, куда еще. Я не знал, что такое уличный театр вообще. Что такое спектакль на улице и вообще вот такая мода, которая есть в Европе. У нас она практически очень мало. Приезжает молодежь, которая за 10 дней делает спектакль, показывает и уезжает. И получает удовольствие. Я как режиссер получаю от них тоже удовольствие.
I was living a bit in Portugal and I didn't have any problem to be there. I just needed to go there, get agreement that I have the right to be there, but other than that, I can work freely there, I can pay taxes and know that I can receive my social guarantees anywhere I go.
Gal ta kažkokia kaip civilizacija, švietimas, mokslas, saugumas, tiesiog gal ta iš tų tokių senesnių laikų ateinantis stabilumas toksai.
Sąjunga, nežiūrint visų trūkumų, turi ir privalumų. Jau, kaip suprantame, vieninga Europos valiuta, euras, apjungė daugelį šalių su skirtingom ekonomikom ir padėjo labiau augti atsilikusią šalis. Todėl tai yra vienas iš didžiausių pasiekimų. Kitas pasiekimas tai yra, kaip minėjau, bevizis režimas, kelionių galimybė, darbo jėgos migracija, kapitalo migracija. Ir žmonės gali pasirinkti šiandien, kur gyventi didžiulėje teritorijoje nuo Šiaurės Europos iki pat Portugalijos ir turi galimybės savo gyvenimą valdyti nepriklausomai nuo gyvenamosios vietos. Trečias dalykas, kas labai svarbu, tai yra bemuitė zona, tai yra vidaus šalis prekiauja be muitų, galima prekes pirkti be vietinio pridėtinės vertės mokesčio, tai labai svarbu, nes skiriasi pridėtinės vertės mokesčiai skirtingose šalyse ir šiai dienai tai yra irgi apjungiantis veiksnys ekonomikas, verslą ir žmonės.
I would say that the cultural challenges are bigger than the practical ones. It's easier to get a job, get a school for your kid than to integrate, because the cultural differences are bigger than the practical ones. And I think this is one of the big advantages, and I know that this has been a priority for European Union and European Commission to make environment that is similar everywhere, right? The system is the same everywhere, so you feel a bit like home everywhere. Just you have to get used to the food, to people, to traditions, and that's it.
Sellele, et on selline ühine majandusruum ja ühine raha, et on inimestel üsna hea liikumisvõimalus nii reisi mõttes kui töötamise mõttes selline, et jah, et see on siuke, et inimestel on võimalik olla just niimoodi, et olla oma riigi, südames oma riigiga, aga samas nagu näha maailma laiemalt ja tunda ennast Euroopas hästi igal pool.
Labā ziņā ir labi, ka mēs esam lieli. Lieli tas nozīmē stipri. Švakā ziņā ir švaki, ka mēs esam lieli, mēs esam smagnēji. Lai pieņemtu kādu likumu, grūzētu kādu likumu, mums ir vajag daudz un dažādas saskaņošanas. Viņi cenšas šos likumus bremzēt un lānam pieņemt, otri cenšas uz pieņemt otrok un sasteigt. Rezultātā varbūt tādā īšana uz priekšu ir diezgan apgrūta notaļa.
Na pewno jestem dumna z osiągnięć związanych z edukacją. To, że Unia Europejska otworzyła drogę wielu osobom i z małych miejscowości, i z tych dużych miejscowości, i z tych grup wykluczonych, dzięki którym ludzie mogą się rozwijać, wyjechać za granicę, pierwszy raz spotkać osobę mówiącą w innym języku niż polski. Więc myślę, że to jest ogromna zmiana, którą widzimy. I tak z takich podstawowych, życiowych, codzienności, które mamy w Polsce, to jest bardzo zauważalne, to są drogi, którymi jeździmy i może czasami o tym nie myślimy. Drogi i pociągi, bo to są te dwie rzeczy, które są widoczne dla kierowców przede wszystkim, że ta zmiana jest ewidentna w naszej sieci dróg.
Economically, especially for smaller countries like Lithuania, European Union funds a lot of infrastructure projects. And I don't think that Lithuania without the European Union would have such an infrastructure like now.
Если у нас что-то строится, это за европейские, да, много чего построено за европейские деньги. Но это себе позволить, как наша страна небольшая, она не может себе это позволить. Естественно, мы в какой-то мере зависимы от них всех.
Most important one for me is like all the projects that people can participate in, that allows them to travel and try new things, meet new people and so on.
I did Erasmus in Italy and then in Spain, and then thanks to that, due to that, I'm planning to come back to Italy.
I have been involved in many projects, like Erasmus Plus projects.
Znam stowarzyszenia, również fundacje, które działają w tym zakresie, między innymi Stowarzyszenie Kobiety z Łodzi. Też moje stowarzyszenie działa w zakresie takich projektów i początek mojego zawodowego życia też był związany z takimi organizacjami.
Ma olen olnud sellistes koolitusprojektides, et kõige pikemaajalisem oli 4-nädalane saksa keele ja noorsootöö koolitus Saksamaal kunagi, see oli ammu, see oli, aga ma ei mäleta, 2000, see oligi seal 2003-2004 kuskil seal. Kui nüüd noorte valdkonnas, siis seesama MTÜ Noored toredate mõttedega, mille raames, kelle alt ma olen ise palju projekte ellu viinud, siis töötades praegu koolis, et meil lõppes Erasmus projekt, meil on praegu 2 Erasmus projekti käimas, siis siin Tartu linnas, neid on alates linnavalitsusest erinevate organisatsioonideni lõpetades tea, Tampere maja või praktiliselt nagu ei, peaaegu nagu ei oska öelda, kes ei kasutaks.
Ma isiklikult olen jah saanud ükskord ümberõppetoetust, et kui ma õppisin psühholoogiks, et sellest oli isiklik abi ja üldse riigile on ikka näha kõik maanteed ja seadused ja kõik on hoopis paremal tasemel, kui nad enne olid.
I have been involved in European projects since I was in high school, and it was Youth in Action. It was an old program before Erasmus+. But after that, I was involved and going, working, participating in all levels, all kinds of levels of Erasmus+ programs. I have met wonderful people, as everybody that has been working or been involved in Erasmus+, everybody says this, right? Met wonderful people, gained amazing experience, and I met my boyfriend. I met the father of my daughter through Erasmus+, so I can say that my life has been affected very much so by the work and the projects that I have been involved with. More professional, I have been involved also with the Frontex project group that works with the border areas of European Union.
Więc wspomagam dwie organizacje, to są wolontariaty europejskie i cieszę się, że mogę im pomóc. Nie uczestniczę bezpośrednio może w akcjach, które one prowadzą, ale w sprawach technicznych staram się pomagać tym, że ludziom, którzy tu przychodzą. No i cieszę się to, że mam z młodzieżą do czynienia, bardzo ciekawą i przez to się też staje bardziej ciekawe dla siebie i dla innych.
Noteikti monopošus. Zaļais meridians. Mēs šobrīd realizējam integrācijas projektus. Mēs darbojamies pie to, lai cilvēki, kas iebrauc, justos labi, jo man ļoti gribētos, lai cilvēki aizdomātos. Katrs bērns, kurš mocos mūsu skolā, saņems mūsu pašu nodokļu maksātāju atbalstu. Bērns aizbrauc no mēs, aizved to naudiņu, ko cilvēkiem ir ieguldījuši, ne tikai tavs un mote, bet arī porēji. Katrs bērns, kas mēs atbrauc mocētīs, ir dovana mūsu valstī, mūsu sistēmai, mūsu Eiropas Savienībai. Jīs atver to naudiņu, ko jo tauta ir ieguldījusi, ko jo tavs ir mote ieguldījis. Ja mēs šobrīd tik ļoti kreitās iedzīvotāju skaits, mēs jābūt atvērtiem, lai mēs varētu atbraukt cilvēki un dzīvot, īpaši Latvijā. Un laukos mēs tiešām ļoti daudz vīteņas. Es arī esmu lepna par to, ka mana organizācija uzņemts arī darbā cilvēks no Indijas, vārdās ar Mitra. Jis ir atbraucis, izstrādāja laukos, jis audzēja dzīvniekus savā saimniecībā. Jis atrada te dzīves biedri, jis ir paņēmis bērniņu, kurš bija pamests.
Позиция, в общем-то, мне кажется, что она где-то на задворках. Не особо то... Во-первых, страна маленькая, и там есть большие такие, как сказать, львы.
Well, I think in the European Union, theoretically, every country is equal politically. But still, I think that since we are a very small country, we don't have as much, influence in the whole European Union policy as, for example, Germany, which is like the strongest country in European Union economically and also has the most citizens. So it's natural that their influence is the biggest in the European Union.
Mina näen seda Eesti riigi, kui ma ei oska lahendust, on see parteide omavaheline nääklemine, et tundub, et neil ei jäägi aega üle riigi asjade ajamisega, et on ainult kohtus käimised, üksteiste solvamised, et see on kole jube. See on põhiline probleem.
No Polska stoi teraz z problemem ekonomicznym, wreszcie mamy pandemię, to jest największy problem, uporać się z tym. Następnie cała infrastruktura musi być dostosowana do Unii Europejskiej. Poza tym mamy zagrożenie ze strony Związku Radzieckiego Rosji, przepraszam, z Rosji. Drugie zagrożenie jest z Ukrainy, która również jest niepewna swojej przyszłości. I tutaj przed Polską stoi zadanie pomóc jednym i drugim rozwiązania tego konfliktu.
I think that we get more than we give, probably, but I think we don't realize that.
No võib-olla isiklikult veel just nimelt see, et tegelikult erinevates kas või projektides või osaledes ja ongi, et isiklikult on ka tegelikult palju sõpru või selliseid koostööpartnereid, kellest tekivad isiklikud suhted ja on nagu palju inimesi, kellega suhelda siin ja seal. Aga riigile ta ongi see, et osaliselt ta on mingite kohtade pealt ta annab nagu neid häid näiteid ja et millest eeskuju võtta. Samas kindlasti on ka mingeid asju, mille koha pealt näitab võib-olla, et nii ei tasu teha.
The position of Poland in the European Union has changed during the past years, and I'm not really proud of it. So I hope that we can rejoin the Union and just feel again part of it.
Europos Sąjunga turi keletą trūkumų tokių, nes, kaip matome, iš politinės pusės tai yra labai silpna užsienio politika ir prisitaikėliška politika, nes viešai yra Europarlamente smerkiama Rusijos veiksmai, tarkim, prieš kaimininės šalis, prieš kitas valstybės, netgi ir vidinę demokratiją gniuždant savo šalyje, o už parlamento ribų vyksta stipri prekyba su Rusija, perkama yra nafta, dujos, trąšos, žaliavos ir tie pinigai keliauja Kremliaus režimui finansuoti tolimesniai propagandai ES viduje, kiršinant žmonės per socialinius tinklus ir žiniasklaidą ir taip pat ginklavimąsi didinant, stiprinant Rusijos, reiškiasi, karinę galią. Taip, kad ES šitoj pusėje pralaimi labai stipriai, nes skiria dėmesį verslo interesam, o ne vertybių apgynimui. Taip pat ES yra labai klaidinga migracijos politika, įsileidžiama yra neribota kiekį iš arabų šalių, musulmoniškų šalių imigrantų, kurie jau sukūrė savo anklavus ES, gyvena uždarose bendruomenėse, nesiintegruoja, piknaudžiauja socialiniam išmokom, atima darbo vietas iš vietinių gyventojų ir, žodžiu, tai yra pražūtinga politika, kuri sugriauna tradicinę tų šalių demografinę sanklodą, žodžiu, gadina socialinę, kultūrinę ir religinę nusistovėjusią tvarką ES viduje ir žmonės priešina vienis prieš kitus. Todėl reikėtų riboti imigracijos politiką į ES ir leisti tiem kiekiam, kurie jau atvažiavo, po truputį grįžti į savo šalis, o ne jos išlaikyti čia. Trečia politika, kuri ES yra klaidinga, tai yra seksualinių mažumų teisių eskalavimas, iškėlimas į pirmą vietą. Kaip žinome, šiuo metu tai labai dominuoja įvairiose šalyse ir kyla vidiniai socialiniai konfliktai dėl to. Ta mes ir matome Lietuvoje, kai tradicinių šeimų gynėjai nenori, kad jų vaikai būtų auklėjami pagal seksualinių mažumų įgeidžius, kad mokyklose būtų propaguojamos seksualinių mažumų teorijos ir nori, kad vyrautų tradicinių šeimų vertybės, kad vaikai turėtų mamą ir tėtę, o ne gimdytoją pirmą ir antrą. Taip, kad šitos 3 problemos, kurios išvardinau, manau, kad ES tai yra vidinis vėžys. Ir jeigu šito vėžio mes laiku neišoperuosime, ES pasmerkta sužlugti.
Ja myślę, że takim głównym problemem to są uchodźcy i w dalszym ciągu jest spora różnica między poziomem życia części krajów starej Europy, a częścią nas, nowej Europy. I pierwszym takim zadaniem, żeby tutaj nie było tarć międzyludzkich czy też między narodami, to żeby jak najszybciej się wyrównały te poziomy.
Immigratsioon kindlasti, et see on veel lahendamata, siis haigused, see praegusel perioodil see Covid, aga ka muud, siis no Euroopa Liit ja NATO on et peaaegu samad põhimõtted ikka, et ka mingisugune sõjaoht ikkagi meie üpris lähinaabrite poolt, et selle ärahoidmisega tuleb tegeleda, see muidugi kurnab mõlemat osapoolt, aga jah.
I don't know if it's the biggest challenges, but Brexit, I think, and also illegal migration.
Główne wyzwania, oto jest ich wiele, ale taki pierwszy, który przychodzi mi na myśl, to jest rozwijający się w wielu krajach i między innymi naszym nacjonalizm. I to jest coś, co będzie wpływać, myślę, że przez kolejne lata na Unię Europejską. To wpływa też na przykład na stosunek do migracji i jakby negatywny oczywiście stosunek do migracji do innych narodowości, co jest odczuwalne na przykład w moim życiu na poziomie państwa i to jest dość przykre w naszym kraju przynajmniej obecnie.
We see a lot of countries going into conservative direction, and I think that this is breaking the common grounds for European Union. For example, Poland, for example, Hungary, okay, maybe also some countries that are not in the European Union, but Belarus as well, Turkey as well, and this is making the situation unstable. I think this is one of the challenges. My fear is that the next generations will not be able to understand each other anymore, because now my generation, I can call up my friends in Poland or in Spain or in Portugal or in Germany, and we have the common grounds. We don't have to explain each other what we think or what are our opinions and values.
В Евросоюзе есть такой, который был, наверное, в Советском Союзе, когда вся власть, которая там Европарламент, да, который диктует свои какие-то уставы, свои законы, и все должны подчиняться.
Ma arvan, et mõlemale poolele, nii Inglismaale endale kui Euroopa Liidule on üsna ebamugav ja keeruline see olukord, et nad nüüd on lahkunud sellest majandusruumist, et väga palju asju olid üles ehitatud. Siis loomulikult on see, et praegu nüüd selle viimase trendi ehk viiruse valguses, et iga riik püüab ise hakkama saada või et igal pool on, et kuidas kuskil on need reeglid, et kuidas moodi hakkama saada, et just nimelt, et kui nagu hea oli see, et kõik piirid on vabad, et siis nüüd, et kes kuidas on suutnud ennast kinni panna ja selline, aga ja ikkagi ilmselt ikkagi selline majanduslik ühtsus või ühesõnaga, et kõik riigid nagu, et nad panustaksid võrdselt ja saaksid võrdselt nagu tagasi, et noh, loomulikult me oleme väike riik ja noh, et midagi üksinda ära teha või selles mõttes ei ole mingit meil meil ei ole lihtne nagu oma arvamust peale suruda või oma mõtteid, ideid ellu viia, kuid samas me oleme teatud asjades ennast tõestanud ja ikkagi demokraatia, kuna Euroopa Liit on ikkagi demokraatiale üles ehitatud institutsioon, siis selles mõttes on meil väga oluline ja that's right.
Dotajā brīdī vēl es esmu eiro optimists, tik un tā es uzskatu, ka pasaules astoņ no pormaiņu. Tātad Eiropas nākotne principā ir atkarīga no pormaiņu. Cik stipri mēs varam sagaidīt, cik aktīvas būs pormaiņas, cik mēs pīzamārosim, cik ļoti mēs sekosim paši kā tauta savai vietēbu sistēmai, kas mēs būs svarīgs. Jo ir labas lietas arī, kas ir ārpus Eiropas Savienības, un ko es ļoti gribētu, lai tas būtu pie mums, lai mums būtu bērns kā vietēba. Lai mūsu bērni nebūtu bērnu namus, lai mūsu bērni augtu ģimeņās. Rūpēties par ģimeniskom vietībām, tas man liekas ļoti svarīgi. Jo, ja ģimenes institūts paliks Eiropā vojāks, Eiropas nākotne nebūs tik stabila.
Ja oleks, kui see nii jätkuks, et siin on igasuguseid teisiti mõtlejaid, kes tahavad jälle lahku lüüa, et ma ei tea milleks, aga et ma sooviksin kindlasti, et kõik jätkuks ja läheks veel järjest paremaks, nagu see praegu on olnud.
It has become a big part of our lives and like seems natural to us, so I don't see an end to it yet.
Vilčių tai nežinau, tai kaip ir viskas atrodo stabilu, bent jau, ta prasme, kad tas, kas yra, viskas vystoma. Dėl saugumo, dėl kažkokio tai garantijų, žmogaus teisių.
Какие-то большие организации, которые общие, они иногда распадаются, и эта тенденция, к сожалению, уже идет потихонечку, да, вот, и она может, я думаю, что может быть и распад.
Przyszłość Unii Europejskiej wyobrażam sobie jako kraje żyjące w Unii, na obszarze Unii, jako kraje suwerenne, mające własną kulturę, własną tożsamość, mogące uczyć się jedne od drugich, ale na zasadzie poszanowania tychże wartości, które są w każdym z tych krajów.
I think one thing that worries me about the European Union is the centralization of the law. In other words, the weakening ability for the other European states to adjust its law by own will and without any compromises with the European Union as an organization. That might come in the near future as some kind of political conflict, which can, further destabilize the European Union.
Mam takie przeczucie, że jednak Unia Europejska to jest coś, które w pewnym czasie się rozpadnie. Tak jak wiele unii i historycznych połączeń jest ten moment, kiedy jest szczyt współpracy, jakieś porozumienia, osiągnięcia i tak dalej, i potem ta linia spada powoli w dół. I to jest gdzieś teraz odczuwalne, że przez różnego rodzaju spory, śledząc te wydarzenia polityczne, widzę, że jest taka tendencja do tego myślenia jednak o odłączaniu się od Unii Europejskiej. Widzę takie niebezpieczeństwo.
I am Euro-optimistic. I want to be Euro-optimistic, but sometimes, as I told previously, I get these fears about some elements start to worry me, that we start to not understand each other, which I think is the basic brick to build everything else. We need to understand each other to build policies. We need to understand each other to make projects together, to do anything. We need to be able to speak to each other freely, understanding what I'm telling to another side.
I think I'm optimistic about it, so I really hope for us to be united and just to have a bright future with no economic crisis.
Manau, kad nereikia smerkti žmonių, kurie didžiuojasi ES pasiekimais arba teigia, kad jie yra piliečiai ES, nes jų toks suvokimas yra ir jie mano, kad tas projektas yra jau baigtas. Tačiau mano nuomonė tai dar tik vystymosi stadijoje projektas ir šiai dienai yra jisai netobulas ir reikalauja dar tolimesnio vystymosi.
At first, I would like to tell thank you very much to Sergei Chakans, our main cameraman, for creation of this wonderful documentary film based on the video interviews of the citizens of our four Baltic countries, and which can be very useful not for our countries, but for other countries also, for other European organizations also, to show the opinions and points of view of our citizens of our countries. So thank you very much, Sergei. Applauding to you. And now, as the conclusion of our today final conference, I would like to tell you, all the partners, thank you very much for your great work, for our very successful, good and successful cooperation during this very long time, during these 2 years of the project. Thank you very much for the cooperation, for the good work, for the interesting work, because only all together we could create such interesting and successful project. I think our project is really very successful, because we have done a lot of useful activities for our society and for the European Union. And I hope that our network will be stable in the future of our Eastern European countries, and we will work together in the future also, and maybe we can create a lot of interesting European projects together. Thank you very much. Thank you.